Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, good morning, bonjour, konnichiwa. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Ken at 10. How are you today? I hope you're well. We're all doing well. It's a little subdued this morning because we had the James Alexander Summer Barbecue on Saturday. And I've got a few medals to give out. The first one is to the first person to fall, and that goes to Eva, who managed to fall off the garden wall. Several other casualties on the night include the cleaner, who tripped up on the croquet set halfway up the garden, and Jack for getting bitten more than anyone else I think I've ever seen on the legs, whilst slowly getting drunk at the bottom of the garden. Apart from that, all went well. I think the gold medal for badminton goes to Eva. Really good skills, which is really odd because she did have a little sleep in between playing badminton very well and then coming back from being a little too sozzled. But no, we all had a great time. We do that once a year, slowly and quietly get sozzled together. And it's always nice to get out in the work environment and just have a giggle together, you know. So welcome back. This is Ken at 10. If you're wondering what I'm going on about, I'm not surprised, really. We are estate agents. We're based in southwest London, in southwest 16, a place called Norbury, which is smack bang between Streatham to the north and Croydon to the south. We sell and let properties and manage them and tell you what it's like working here at the coalface. And it's not all joy and barbecues, you know. Oh, no. We've had a busy week on viewings and a lot of maintenance, obviously with the floods and everything. A few issues, no doubt, are going to come up there today because we manage quite a lot of property locally, which we will deal with. A few items in the news this week. The first one is estate. This comes in the Times and, of course, the Mail because it's scandalous. Estate agents plan to charge home buyers £30 for a property viewing to get rid of time wasters. A new website allows agents to send a link to prospective buyers and tenants who will be asked to pay at least £30 to guarantee a viewing. Well, you won't find that at James Alexander, folks. We're quite happy to show you stuff. It's what we do. Nonetheless, founder Michael Riley came up with this idea after he saw that estate agents were fed up with the high number of people that didn't turn up for viewings. Well, if you qualify people properly, most of the time they will turn up in our experience. Interesting one in the Times and the Mail. And this is about mortgage price war. We mentioned to you last week, by the way, this is not financial advice, never financial advice. Go seek advice from a financial advisor. But what it says is that a summer mortgage price war has broken out. We said last week that the Nationwide offered a 0.99% fixed rate for 5 years. And that's the cheapest we'd ever seen. And since then, it's kicked off. They've all joined in. There are now 11 banks offering deals below 1%, 33 loans priced below 1%. Andrew Montlake of Correco said, that's a mortgage broker, for those with a healthy deposit, this is the best time ever to obtain a mortgage. What I envisage happening next is we're going to start to see first-time buyer deals come down as they compete for a slowing market where there's not as many properties available to buy. So we expect to see lenders compete more for the available business. And because there's confidence in property prices, I have a feeling that we're going to start to see those first-time buyer rates come down, and not before time too. I really do feel for first-time buyers when the average person's getting mortgage below 1% and first-time buyers are averaging, 2.5%. That's 2.5 times. It doesn't seem fair or reasonable to me. Later on in the show, I am going to tell you what the most popular village hotspot for the pandemic has been. And then also Bank of Scotland have launched a new green mortgage deal, offering £250 for those buying the most energy efficient homes. It's not much though, is it? £250? Would that make you buy a house? I don't think so. The Vatican apparently has got a very big property empire, and that's widely reported in the Times and the Guardian. And in the UK, what do they have in the UK? Let's have a look. 1,200 properties across London, Paris, Geneva and Switzerland together generated a profit of 15 million last year. The growth of the high street experience. This is an interesting one to me because, I don't know about you, but I look at all these high streets and I think it's not sustainable, is it? All these shops that are closed down, everyone wandering about. It's like, you expect to see the tumbleweeds all blowing across, don't you? And there's a lot of efforts underway to try and revitalise England's high streets in order to have some sort of experience for people. Debenhams in Wandsworth, for instance, their shopping mall has been converted into a go-kart track, bowling alley, adventure golf course, bars and restaurants across 4 floors. And in Stockton-on-Tees, their 2 shopping centres are going to be demolished to create a riverside park. That's interesting. For me, I said for a while now that I'd like to see a lot of these shopping places. We've got a desperate housing shortage, and yet we've got all these vacant shops. Surely there's something that can be done to fuse those two together. Apart from that, material shortage. You've probably heard about this. A lot of builders and a lot of people that are building are telling us that the shortage of raw materials is going to remain an issue for the next year or so. And we're hearing stories of massive inflation in raw materials. In fact, we were speaking to a builder last week that was saying he could only get 2 bags of cement from one particular builder's merchant. So his day was spent going from builder's merchant to builder's merchant trying to get enough material to get on with his daily job, which again is impacting prices in 2 ways. Number one, he's paying more for the sand and cement. Number two, he's got to queue up all day and somebody's got to pay for his time doing that. So building costs are going up quite rapidly. Some good news as well, two pieces of good news, actually, a couple of things that I really liked. You may see the medals behind me. And for me, Adam Peaty, what a hero. The swimmer has now got another gold medal. What an amazing guy. Holds the world record, and he's a Brit. And then Tom Daly and Matty Lee also come in with gold. I think there's another one as well. So, we're getting some good medals, and that's good to see. Love the Olympics. Love to see that constant struggle and the, almost impossible battles going on. And the second thing is, this is the 5th day that cases have fallen in coronavirus terms. And that has to be good news, doesn't it? One of the things that we learned from speaking with Dr. Georgia Ladbury last week was that the whole point of the release, Freedom Day, was to try and make the virus peak early so that it's falling off before we get into the winter, where we could end up with a 4th wave. And it looks like it might be working, folks. Watch this space. We certainly hope so. Apart from that, Britain has enjoyed its fastest expansion since 1941. According to the EY Item Club, that's Ernst Young, the accountants. It indicates that GDP is set to grow by 7.6% this year. That's the fastest expansion since 1941 and higher than the 6.8% predicted in the spring. Martin Beck, senior economic advisor, said the vaccine rollout played a key role in bringing forward the reopening of the economy, while the furlough scheme and adaptive businesses have meant the jobs market is emerging from the pandemic in remarkably little damaged state. Mr. Beck notes that consumers have huge pent-up spending power, but there's no guarantee they'll spend these savings, while rising prices could also constrain spending power. And then at the other extreme, and of course we must remember this too, there are people out there and lots of success stories, but also poor households. That it really has been a story of the middle classes getting wealthier and the poor becoming poorer. As an article in the Express, a new report for the Centre for Social Justice think tank is to warn COVID-19 pandemic and support measures introduced have exacerbated wealth inequality in Britain. The charity Step Changes found that wealthier families made record savings. The number of Britons in severe debt rose by 600,000 to 2.4 million in 2020 alone. And, it's tough out there for some people. We must remember that too. So apart from that, we're just about to go into our weekly meeting, try and work out what we can do, how we can serve our customers best, how we can make sure that everybody that's on the market with us for sale or for rent is getting A, the best possible service, and B, if they're looking at a vacant period coming up, that we get it let as soon as possible. If they're looking for a sale, that we get that buyer through their door as soon as possible, get the best possible offer for them. Aside from that, the weather here in Norbury is kind of grey and overcast. We're very lucky with the summer barbecue. It held off for us, and then Sunday, oh my gosh, didn't it come down? So changeable is what it looks like here. Hope you're doing well where you are. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition. Until then, I need one more thing to tell you, and that is, where is the hotspot for house prices in the UK coastal villages? And the answer is Hemsby, which is just north of Great Yarmouth. And that tops the rankings by a right move. Surprising, isn't it? That's the one thing that's changed, is all these ranking changes. It'll be really interesting to see when London reopens if it gets the top spot back again. I don't think it will, but I think it will be back up there in the reckoning probably in the next 6 months. Time will tell. Until tomorrow, have a fantastic day, and we'll be back then. Take care.